Ukraine's deep strike blitz shatters Russian defenses and ignites $950 million in losses. Today, Ukraine intensifies a deep strike campaign that has begun reshaping the strategic landscape inside Russia, striking military bases, fuel depots, radar sites, ports, and industrial hubs across several regions. Through the night, waves of drones and special operations units burned through defenses that Moscow long described as impenetrable. Fires spread across refineries, blackouts erupted near the capital, and critical pipelines ignited under targeted explosions. Analysts estimate that Russia has suffered roughly $950 million in combined losses across military aviation, energy networks, and industrial production capacity. With so many pressure points collapsing at once, the only way to understand how this phase of Ukraine's campaign unfolded is to return to the moment the night's first detonation broke the silence. At 2 a.m. in Crimea, the stillness around the Chechnya military airfield shattered. Ukrainian forces had been preparing a coordinated set of strikes meant to weaken Russia's grip over the occupied peninsula. Fighters from the GR Special Unit, known as Ghosts, carried out a precision attack on a Russian MiG-29 stationed on the runway. The jet, which supported local air patrol tasks and rapid response intercept missions, ignited instantly. Flames crawled along the fuselage as the blast wave rippled across the installation. Russian emergency crews scrambled, but the aircraft was already beyond recovery. Moments later, another strike landed on the Sirtis radar complex near temporarily occupied Stavropol. This radar system had been one of Russia's key tools for detecting low-altitude threats, a capability already strained by months of Ukrainian pressure. By disabling this site, Ukrainian intelligence further eroded Russia's layered defensive structure across Crimea. Each loss narrows Russia's reaction time, exposing more corridors for incoming drones. Meanwhile, deep inside the Rostov region, Russian crews prepared a new barrage of Shahed drones near Milerovo. They fueled generators, programmed autopilot routes, and readied the launch racks. But Ukrainian reconnaissance had been watching. As the Russians prepared for their outgoing strike, Ukrainian UAVs approached low and fast. Without warning, explosions erupted across the launch position, tearing apart equipment before operators could react. Debris scattered across the field, and secondary flashes illuminated the night. This attack destroyed infrastructure Russia uses to maintain daily, long-range pressure against Ukrainian cities, adding to the broader $950 million in losses. By targeting launch sites directly, Ukraine forced Russia into a defensive posture, rather than allowing it to conduct uninterrupted offensive operations. Far to the south, another front of disruption emerged. A Ukrainian UAV pierced the airspace of Grozny, the capital of Chechnya. It struck a high-rise building in the heart of the district associated with the Kadyrovites' stronghold. The structure houses the offices of the Chechen Security Council and other administrative bodies tied to regional security and enforcement. Surveillance cameras captured the moment of impact, a sudden flash, a rolling fireball, and debris falling into the street. Analysts later suggested that the drone's trajectory might have been affected by Russian electronic warfare interference, but even so, the strike reached a zone Moscow had promoted as invulnerable. Only a few hundred meters away sits a major FSB facility, believed to be another possible target. The attack signaled to local authorities that distance from the front line no longer guaranteed immunity. Further upheaval unfolded in the Samara region, where residents of Syzran woke to a chain of explosions shortly after 2 a.m. Locals described the first blast as a deep, echoing shockwave. Seconds later came a rapid salvo of 5 to 7 detonations. Lights flickered, windows rattled, and alarms activated across the district. Russian air defense crews fired in multiple directions, in what observers described as chaotic, uncoordinated attempts to intercept drones passing overhead. Smoke drifted above rooftops, and the sound of gunfire punctured the air long after the last explosion. Preliminary reports indicated yet another strike on a strategically important Rosneft facility, previously guarded with heightened security. Ukraine's ability to bypass surveillance in this region demonstrates how adaptive flight patterns and persistent reconnaissance allow drones to infiltrate even fortified sectors. The night's disruption widened when confirmation arrived of a drone strike near the Temryuk commercial seaport. Russian telegram channels filled with images showing massive fireballs rising above port structures. Witnesses said the explosion occurred beneath an elevated fuel tank, causing flames to spill outward as the structure collapsed. The Temryuk port serves as a strategic transit point for liquefied gas and petroleum products, so the damage immediately disrupts logistics across the region. Later satellite thermal data revealed intense heat signatures across multiple sections of the fuel storage zone. Analysts who reviewed the images concluded that the explosion's pattern suggested precise targeting rather than accidental detonation. In the Stavropol region, another strategic node suffered a direct hit. The Novinomysk Azot plant, a facility central to Russia's military-industrial supply chain, erupted in flames after drone strikes penetrated its perimeter. Although regional authorities described the incident vaguely, independent observers identified widespread structural damage. Smoke columns rose hundreds of meters as fire crews struggled to contain the blaze. This plant produces key chemicals: ammonia, ammonium nitrate, and specialized dual-use compounds on an industrial scale, used in explosives, artillery shells, grenade launcher charges, and rocket propellant mixtures. The strike occurred roughly 570 kilometers from the front line, underscoring Ukraine's expanding reach. Any disruption here directly affects Russia's ammunition production cycle, which already faces shortages due to international sanctions and transportation constraints. Across Russia, monitoring channels filled with frantic messages. People described sirens, flashes, exploding fuel tanks, and emergency vehicles racing through darkened streets. Panic increased as more regions reported power failures. In the Moscow region, dozens of apartment blocks fell into total darkness. Residents shared videos of unlit neighborhoods and streets illuminated only by car headlights. The outage resembled an event that occurred 1 month earlier, when a large-scale blackout affected the same districts. Analysts noted that these failures often correspond with periods of increased drone activity. Russian officials attributed the disruptions to technical faults, but the timing suggested a larger systemic strain. Technicians refer to such events as phase disconnections, where overloaded grid segments trip one after another until blackout conditions appear. Morning light brought new reports from Krasnodar Krai, where explosions struck the Ilsky oil refinery and possibly a nearby port. Local residents described seeing sudden flashes, followed by pillars of smoke. Overnight, another Ukrainian drone ignited an oil depot in the Oriol region, setting fuel reserves and chemical stores ablaze. Storage tanks buckled under the heat, creating a cascade of fire that spread across the containment area. Scenes like these, once considered unimaginable inside Russia, are now increasingly common. The year 2025 has become the highest on record for drone strikes across the Russian Federation, indicating a rapid evolution in Ukraine's long-range strike capability. Beyond drones, Ukraine has also begun incorporating newer missiles into its campaign. Among them are small-size Peklo missiles and extended-range systems such as Neptune D and Flamingo. Reports from Chechnya indicated that both an FSB building and a Kadyrovite unit base in Jermis were struck, adding to Russia's internal security concerns. Ukrainian officials stated that these operations send a clear message to those who participate in the occupation. Their positions, no matter how remote or fortified, will not remain safe indefinitely. Ukraine's long-range disruption campaign also encompasses earlier operations that set the stage for this current escalation. On November 25th, Ukraine struck the Bereev aircraft repair plant in Taganrog, a facility capable of modernizing specialized aircraft platforms. The strike destroyed two rare and irreplaceable prototypes, the A-60, an experimental airborne laser aircraft, and the A-100LL, intended as the next-generation airborne early warning system. Both aircraft originated from Soviet-era production lines that no longer exist. Their destruction effectively ends Russia's ability to develop new airborne laser capabilities or advance the next iteration of its early warning fleet. Even before the attack, the A-100 had already fallen behind comparable Western systems. Now, without a test aircraft, the program faces indefinite suspension. Additional background reveals how sustained this pressure has become. Throughout August, Ukraine was accused of repeatedly striking sections of the Druzhba oil pipeline, causing fires, temporary supply shutdowns, and diplomatic tension. Fires erupted at distribution stations linked to Russia's military-industrial complex. In November, Ukrainian forces carried out 14 separate strikes on Russian oil refineries, the highest monthly total ever recorded. Black Sea ports, including facilities near Novorossiysk, suffered similar disruptions. Ukraine has also extended this pressure to the maritime domain. Upgraded Sea Baby drones targeted 2 tankers belonging to Russia's Shadow Fleet, damaging both vessels and removing them from operational service. These tankers, used to transport sanctioned oil, provide significant revenue for Russia's war budget. Because they operate outside normal civilian protections, they are treated as financial assets supporting Russia's military capacity. Their loss contributes to cumulative financial strain. Sanctions further restrict Russia's ability to export oil. After new US measures targeted Rosneft, Lukoil, and dozens of subsidiaries, the volume of unsold Russian oil waiting offshore increased by 20% over 3 months, reaching nearly 180 million barrels. With fewer buyers willing to risk sanctions, prices fall and revenues shrink. Reuters reported that Russia's oil and gas income dropped by 35% in November, one of its lowest levels in recent years. Taken together, the destruction of aircraft, refineries, ports, launch platforms, depots, pipelines, and other military-industrial assets across this campaign represents roughly $950 million in Russian losses. Ukraine's expanding ability to strike deep into Russian territory forces Moscow to stretch its defenses across thousands of kilometers, while also contending with erosion in its energy infrastructure and diminishing revenue streams. As these operations escalate and Russia's capacity to absorb them weakens, the central question remains: how long can Russia sustain this level of disruption before its internal systems reach a breaking point? Share your thoughts in the comment section below.